And Scotland's hapless Humza Yousaf, that's who I want to talk about. He's had quite the humdinger on net zero. Last year he was waxing lyrical about staying the course. He posted this on twitter.com. The UK government rolling back on their climate pledges is unforgivable. It's time for climate action and ambition. Scotland will continue to show global leadership in the face of the climate crisis. The UK government is on the wrong side of history. I'd urge them to rethink. That was after Rishi Sunak said, hang on a minute, I'd actually like to protect working class people a little bit here. The co-leader of Humza's Green Party coalition said Sunak's climate policy changes were profoundly worrying, accusing the Tories of taking advantage of outright climate denial. That old chestnut. And now guess what? The Scottish Government is to ditch its flagship target of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 75% by 2030. You couldn't make it up. I say, well, hang on a minute. Does this mean Humza Yousaf is himself a climate denier that's put in place profoundly worrying climate change U-turns? Or is he just a prized political pygmy forced to accept a cut of climate emissions of 75% in 5 years' time? It's not only unnecessary, but profoundly punishing to Scotland's people and its economy.
Thought your head was going to explode then, Darren.
That man makes my head want to bloody
You did a great William Wallace impression.
Thank you very much. Yes, I don't think I'd be welcome at today's SNP rally.
No,
sadly.
Independence in Glasgow.
Yes, exactly, yes. But Benjamin Butterworth, as a man who likes all things green, despite flying around the world more than, Jeff Bezos, do you actually think that Humza Yousaf is a hypocrite?
I think the problem here is that Humza Yousaf, more than, sturgeon or salmon, seems to think that Scotland is an independent country that can dictate things like climate change policy and foreign affairs. If they got their numbers wrong, it was their mistake on a political level, right? They have to act within the boundaries of what the UK government chooses to do and economic projections and all the rest of it. So I kind of think it's a bit rich. I mean, it's very typical of the SNP that they always blame Westminster.
But do you think that was a laudable aim, though, Benjamin, the 75% reduction in 5 years?
Yeah, absolutely. And the truth is that people like you look at this in the completely reverse way.
Would you stop flying? Would you commit to stop flying right on air?
Well, I mean, if I did do that, you'd have to see more of me because I'd be in the country.
Where are you going in a few weeks?
He's got off to Yemen. I'm going there by horse.
How are you getting there?
Camel. But look, can I just make the point that the climate challenges that we face are an enormous economic opportunity for a country that has as highly educated, as excellent a higher education sector as we do. The kind of technology that we can develop is being in demand by the entire world, and it is a massive chance for us to have a new industrial revolution.
Any idea how much it's going to cost?
Well, you didn't listen to what I said. I'm saying that these are huge business opportunities for an economy like us, and that is why you should be looking at it as ways to bring in money, not ways to spend it.
So the only way you're going to get there is by spending £3 trillion, stopping the entire world's battery reserves for the next 10 years, rerouting it to the UK, and even then it'll only meet 26% of energy demands.
So let me ask you this.
It's a suicidal plan, right? And the people at Whitley Wind Farm, which is a giant wind farm in Scotland, will tell you the exact same thing. When I went up there for COP26, not exactly a climate-denying summit, right? I asked them, are these any good? And they said, well, we don't make them in Scotland, we import them via flatbed truck, they're coated in carbon, we can't recycle them, and we still need gas or nuclear to support them. So even the engineers at the wind farms are saying they're a flustered bush. So what makes you the expert on this?
So would you rather invest in tackling climate change or be underwater?
You're not going to be underwater.
That's the reality of lots of places in the world.
It's absolutely not.
Many of them are in the Commonwealth.
No, the most apocalyptic claims of the UN are not likely to come to pass. And even if you did, the UN's prescribed policy, according to William Nordhaus, Nobel Prize-winning economist, he said there'd be more damage by paying the money they've asked than just letting climate change happen.
Right, Diane, do you think this is an admission, actually, that, Scotland have been partnering with their Green Coalition partners? They've been saying, oh, look, we're going to be the most progressive part of the United Kingdom, because, as Benjamin said, he sometimes forgets that he is still part of the United Kingdom. And actually, what they've shown is that this is a completely unaffordable, it's costly to the extreme, and it would hit Scotland's poorest people hardest.
It would hit. I think they have had a massive realisation that this is not workable, and the SNP are really showing themselves to not be very good at anything involving numbers, being as we've just had...
government.
Yeah, government, numbers,
Yeah.
oh, it's all a bit difficult. But it's very clear that they've had to row back on this. And although it is ambitious to set a target, I often feel like Scotland is trying to one-up Westminster,
Yes.
but they're not doing it in a way that they can actually achieve it. They're kind of like the guy that like swaggers around the gym saying, yeah, I could bench press 96 kilograms just because he wants to be the biggest guy. But then when it comes to it, he doesn't even know how the machine works.
Well, they're basically saying, you know, let's make Scotland skint just to get one up on London. And I don't think that's a viable proposition. They've said, actually, they've turned around and some of them are blaming Rishi Sunak. They're saying because Rishi Sunak watered down his climate pledges that they have been forced into action to reverse theirs. Is it your fault? Are you to blame for Humza Yousaf?
Is it my... Well,
yes. As Rishi Sunak's accolade, disciple.
He's not Rishi.
Well... By extension, look, I speak to you as
His
Rishi
wife would be
Sunak's conduit. No. This is quite serious, actually. I think Humza Yousaf has just shown himself to be an awful leader, and he is not the kind of person that Scotland needs to be leading their country. I mean, he's a complete failure. He set himself a far too ambitious target when it came to reducing 75% of emissions by 2030. I mean, what sort of nonsense is that? I was always told to... I mean, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Over-deliver. Under-deliver?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Under-promise,
Under-promise and over-deliver, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. And that is not what Humza Yousaf has done.
No.
I have a question. How could Humza Yousaf be a better leader, in your opinion?
Leave.
Well,
Step down.
that's answered that one, right?
Resign.